Hello and welcome back to Bi Publisher Basics and Beyond. This is the this in this chapter we will look at some advanced features within data templates. So we are going to leverage data templates to build parent-child data extraction. We'll also look at some advanced features like functions, etc. So before we start, uh, as usual, there is a zip file right below this video for you to download. This case, the zip file name is 002-008. Feel free to download and you'll have all the necessary files required to perform the labs. So let's look at advanced features. So this would be the last chapter in this series. I would like you to download the files, play with it. These are just the guidelines. You just take it and make it better. So the first advanced feature is the parent to child. So let's say we have a parent query and we want to pass some values from the parent query to the child query. We could use similar to parameters. You can use the output from the first query. So in this case, I'm getting the department ID as MAS master department ID. I'm passing it into the second query. This would be the child query as a variable. So this is the feature which allows you to query master to child or parent to child queries. You can have any number of sub-child queries like this. So for example, so I have a simple statement here. I have a parameter that's being passed to the program, which is called service period. Based on the period, I'm going to get the start and end date from the GL periods. So you can see I'm deriving that information here. So so now I'm going to pass this start and end date to the get departments. So you can see I'm using the service date between start and end date. So you can see the period name is here, which is being passed to the first SQL statement. I'm getting the output from the SQL statement and passing it to the next one. And I'm going to get the department ID as master department, and I'm going to pass it to the next get employees SQL statement. So here is a good example where how we can leverage uh, XML templates to derive parent-to-child queries. So you can see here, I have a parameter here. You can see the SQL statements. So the syntax would be column, column name, or column alias name. So then within the data structure, you can align your data structure to meet your requirement. So please note that you don't have to have a parent-child to build a data structure. You would have seen in the past examples where we created a structure without going through the parent-child. But here is how you specify your parent and child relation in the data structure. So you can see the service periods, employees, and the department. So let's do a lab. So in this particular chapter, we have 3 labs. The first lab, we're going to do multiple loops. Then the second lab we're going to do a regrouping. The third lab we would do use of functions. So this is the template that we are going to use for this particular lab. So you can see there's the first query that is going to get the parameter service period. It's going to get the start and end date. Based on the start and end date, I'm going to get some tricks transaction data, and I'm going to pass the customer ID and get the invoices, and then I'm going to pass that value from the get invoices to the get order using the interface header attribute 1. You can see how the data structure is arranged. So let's add the concurrent. So once the data definition is XML is created, let's go ahead and create the concurrent program. Make sure your executable is .dot.exe and format is XML. Add your parameter. Now you add the data definition, go to XML Publisher Administrator, data definition, add your data definition, make sure your code and your application matches what you've defined in your concurrent program. So the concurrent program short name and receivable and an application should match what you're going to define in the data definition. Click apply. Now we upload the right file. So in this case, I'm going to pass the first template. I'm going to add it to request group. You can add it to any request group. I'm just going to add it to here. I'm going to delete it later on. So I'm going to run it. I'm passing the parameter as November 15th. So the job is completed. Click output. So the output is here. So you can see that these are arranged based on the customer, because that's how the data is defined. So you can see the first query would return the start and end date. That start and end date is being passed the next queries and output is generated. So let's continue the lab. So in this case, we will look at the second data definition file. The second data definition file is pretty much the similar when it comes to SQL statement. The only difference is that if you look at the grouping, I have removed the orders from within this. Previously, if you look at here, the group, there's no within the group get invoices. This group was embedded within the get invoices, so I have moved it outside of it. So just basically showing how to extract data differently. So let's upload it and run the program. So at this point, let's go ahead and take the next step. So we're going to review the functions. We have looked at in the previous example how to use functions. So we're going to look at how functions, so I'm going to use the sum total functions total or sum to get the total invoice amount. So we have, in the previous example, in the previous labs, we've gone through the functions in detail. So I'm just adding it to here. So in this case, we are adding the element called total invoice element, which is get invoices dot extended amount. If you look at the get invoice and the extended amount, so we are going to derive the total invoice amount, which is based off the get invoice dot extended amount, and the function is going to be sum. So if you look at the value get invoices dot extended amount, it's the value that we want. That's the value that we can derive, and function is sum. In the same way, it's total sales order amount is equal to get order dot sale. So there's a, so if you look at the if you look at the so get order dot unit selling price or sell price, and the function is sum. So in the zip file, you would see another XML file for data template called version 3. Please upload it. Run, upload, run, and review data. You would see the data. Let's review the output. We can see that the total invoice amount and total sales order amount is displayed and calculated. So let's look at the lab Excel sheet. You can start with opening the file v1 template. So if you look at the template by itself, you can see that there are 4 queries. The first query is to get the GL dates based on the period that you passed. So the idea is to get familiarizing with the loop, so don't get too excited into it. So the first query gets the period dates. The second query, we are passing the start and end date, and the next query we're going to pass the sold to customer to the third query. In the fourth query, we are passing the interface table. Go to the lab one. So once this template is reviewed, there's no executable that's being defined. We define the concurrent program. So you can have any naming conventions that you want. Make sure you update the make sure all the document is updated properly. So you have the uh, the, the parameter specified correctly. Then you have the data definition. Then you run the program. So coming to lab 2, it's if you look at the lab 2 template, pretty much everything is the same except that we are moving the group outside of the get invoices. So in lab 3, it's we are using the same out. We're going to extend the lab 2 to include the total invoice and sales amount. So that concludes this data extraction part. So we have looked at different extraction parts like extraction features like PL/SQL, RDF, and we have gone through extensively through the data templates. The data template is one of the simplest and powerful way to extract your data in XML format. Feel free to test it out. I think I've uploaded more than 10 templates. So feel free to download and test it out. So the next section would review the XML. How do we format the XML data? So I'm looking forward to seeing you in those chapters. Thank you.